Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Turn-Based Memories. This is episode 30. I know I just told the co-host Mel that we're not going to count, but then when I was editing the previous episode, I noticed the number, and now I remember it, so I'm saying it. Hi, Mel. How are you today?
Hey, again so soon? What?
I know, right? Yeah. I already uploaded the previous one, I think. Yeah,
I
last
saw.
night. Yeah. So I'm on it. So today we're doing what we said we were going to do before this time, and that is we're going to talk to Mel and me, of course, about Star Ocean 6, The Divine Force. And the reason that we had a switch in the schedule is because of Mel.
Again. Woo!
It's all his fault. So he to put it simply, he didn't like the game and he quit. Let's just put it bluntly. So I'm going to ask him a bunch of questions of why he hates the best game of all time. Because I had the time of my life. I mean, there's some things I don't like about it too, but I had the time of my life overall. And he could not get into it. And it was mainly because of, are you ready? It's the same thing that Mel said when he played Tales of Vesperia. AI-controlled, computer-controlled party members was the main problem. Am I right, Mel? Is that it?
It's true. It just doesn't sit well with me. I just don't know how to. My brain doesn't know how to have fun with that.
Okay. I mean, whatever. If it's your preference, is what that means. So
Yeah.
it can't be helped. I can't be like annoyed at you for that. All right, so let's get into it. Is there any housekeeping today? This is Star Ocean 6. Turn-Based Memories is a podcast where we talk about RPGs. They're not always turn-based, as you can tell, but and usually, so far until now, it has been that one person played the game a long time ago and the other person is playing it now for the first time. But it's a little bit different this time. I have played basically all of the Star Oceans up till now, but Mel hasn't played any. So this was his very first Star Ocean game. And I got to tell you, Mel, because I had no idea how good Star Ocean 6 was going to be. And Star Ocean 5 is famous for being the ultimate disappointment of all time. But I can tell you now, after playing Star Ocean 6 twice from both Letitia's and Raymond's perspective, dude, this is the freaking Star Ocean experience. You got the genuine experience. You got the quality level. In some areas, it was much higher quality level than I expected. And in some others, less. But you got the genuine Star Ocean experience. So if you didn't like this, I think it's safe to say you're not going to like probably any of them.
Probably not. So
Yeah.
we're looking at the intro right now, right?
Yes.
Right. This is Raymond's intro.
Raymond's intro. Yeah,
Right?
Letitia's
Yes,
one
this is the
like...
one that I experienced. So I played the game for. Let me check the clock.
how long
I
did you
played it
play?
for star.
Just while you look for that, just for perspective, the other game that you quit, which was Tales of Vesperia, you gave 30 hours to.
I did? Wow.
That's what you said in the episode. That was a valiant effort for a game you ended up not liking. I wonder how far you
True.
went this time.
I got quite far into that game. That was more like a issue of I didn't have it in me to finish it, and I kind of wanted us to move on to the next project instead of taking another month to get through or whatever it was. Like that game, I got.
You didn't get that far. You didn't get that far, but I mean, 30 hours is a long time. But the thing is, the game is freaking endless.
All right, then I felt like I was getting quite far, but I got 10 hours into this game.
Okay, not nearly as much of a chance.
No.
That's kind of unfair, I think, but okay. Considering that I prefer this game far more than Tales of Vesperia. That's interesting. But anyway, did you want to say anything about this intro since we're looking at it?
It's very cool. It's very sci-fi. The game has a lot of the look of a game that I would like. I'm not like huge into the sort of style, the particular anime style that we're looking at here, but I don't mind it. But the sci-fi trappings I definitely do like, and it's a fun, Japanese role-playing adventure setup.
Yeah, the setup
If
was
not for the
definitely sweet.
combat, I think I would have been fully on board.
Yeah, that's too bad. So
Mm.
yeah, one thing that a lot of people have problems with the previous game, starting from mostly from Star Wars and 4, but this one as well. Everybody commented on it. They do not like these character models. What do you think of, like, particularly
Yeah,
their faces aren't
I've
that
heard
great, right?
those arguments. The porcelain doll sort
Yeah.
of big-headed kind of thing. I can see that argument. It's not my favorite either. I think we've talked about it before. The Ivalice sort of Final Fantasy 12 and Final Fantasy Tactics anime style in those games are what I go for more, or Vagrant Story,
Well,
that kind of
that's
thing.
you say the anime style in those games is more what you go for, like it's a common style, dude. That's like a totally unique art style, is it not?
Sure, I mean it's a style. There's enough games in there for me to feel comfortable calling it a style. It is a
Yeah, it's a
style.
style. Yeah,
It's its own. I was referencing instances of itself. That's the same
yeah,
art director
right. It's that
in
guy.
all of
Yeah,
those
I don't know who.
games.
Yeah,
So that his style,
you prefer
um,
over
I
this.
really do enjoy, and it's not the only one. There's other anime styles that I like, can't think of off the top of my head, but this is
Mhm.
definitely of a type that's not enough for me to get turned off. Like some people look at this and go like, ugh,
Yeah,
that wasn't my problem.
yeah. I've seen lots of people in the Star Ocean Reddit, which I recently figured out how to use Reddit and found out it's actually kind of fun. So I
I've
kind of use
almost
it.
been afraid of Reddit because I don't want to like lose myself in.
It's not that addicting. It's not the kind. It's not like Twitter where you're supposed to scroll and find more guys to talk to and scroll. It's not really like that. I mean,
Yeah,
like, you just look at the top 3 most recent ones. If you're interested in replying, you reply, and then turn it off until tomorrow. It's that simple.
sure.
So
Yeah,
as how I found it, because it's a message board more than a direct chat kind of thing. I mean, I
sure.
guess it's like sort of like Twitter though. Anyway, I was there, and yeah, there's like plenty of people who love Star Ocean. Man, how can I get rid of this thing? Is there any way?
Oh, the little gray. That's the call window, folks.
Right.
We're
Okay.
doing
I just put
screen sharing, folks.
yeah, we're doing it for the first time just to give it a try. um. Uh. There's lots of people in there be like, man, these guys' faces look so terrible. It's the worst game ever. It's like, oh my god. Okay.
I wouldn't give it that. I think outside of that, though, the game looks great. Like I would have a hard time like hearing or abiding an opinion about the game's appearance outside of the style of the characters' design.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
I do know what you mean. We just entered a main part of the music. Okay, I'm gonna turn up the sound louder. Like this soundtrack was by Motoi Sakuraba.
Mm-hmm.
The guy. I'm convinced that there's probably nobody in the entire world that's written as many songs as he has. Like in history,
What? Really?
Don't you think, dude?
I don't know.
The guy writes like 200-track RPGs soundtracks per year. Does he
Really?
not? Like, Jesus.
Look up his discography, I guess.
And he's
That
been
is a
doing it
lot.
since like the 90s or 80s or something.
It's a lot. That sounds like a lot.
It's quite possible that nobody's written more songs. It's possible anyway.
I suppose.
So anyway, yeah, this is Motoi Sakuraba, and man, like when you consider like how many freaking soundtracks he's had done until now, like there are all kinds of opinions about them, and a lot of people. One of the popular opinions is like if you play a bunch of Tales games, like these songs are just serviceable. That's what we said about Tales of Vesperia soundtrack, and if you don't like progressive rock, which he puts in a lot of dungeon or battle themes, all the people who don't like that hate it. But I think he's freaking doing such a solid job in this game. Outstanding game. Now, I really want you to pay attention to the music when they freaking enter the atmosphere. Oh my god, dude. Let's see. Let's watch from right. We're at 8:41 now. So let's go back to 8. Let's go 8. Come on, I can do it. 8:24. Here we go. Let's watch from here. And listen to how like the flutes come in and it gets a little bit more dramatic like the moment they enter the atmosphere. Gets me every time. I'm going to turn up the sound. to like a little more than halfway. Here we go.
So until they get here, just think of this as an adventure, okay?
Entering orbit around the fourth planet in the Astor star system.
Right here. And then as soon as their pods get hit by those freaking electromagnetic cannons, the freaking chords start turning all minor and stuff. Freaking awesome. But particularly it's when they enter the atmosphere and all of a sudden the flutes are like da-na-na, da-na-na, da-na-na. Oh my god, dude.
It's a very good intro. The music and the visuals are not things that I was they're probably what carried me along.
Mm-mm-mm.
For the 10 hours.
The 10 hours that you managed to withstand. The best thing was the visuals and the music. Okay. So I guess let's go ahead and like fast forward to some freaking battle scenes, huh? Shall we?
Yeah, I want you to explain, and I'm sure you will.
Yes.
Like what the magic is for this combat system, and I know it's big on like the crafting and other kind of character customizations. Yeah, I'm looking for those details.
Okay.
Obviously, I didn't have a lot of experience to appreciate those.
Well, I can tell you when I was playing through it the first time, I set it to universe mode, which is the hardest available at the beginning. And I came through this dungeon you're seeing now, which is the Delric Mines. So there are only like a couple areas before this area, right? Like outside areas. But this is the first one. It's like, oh, it's like a dungeon. Like you're inside of an area and there's a boss at the end and stuff. And the magic happened for me the first time. Because the magic usually happens the first time when you, like, I guess the thing you said you wanted was you wanted it to quote unquote click. And it wasn't clicking. So, and admittedly, this early into the game, it wasn't clicking for me either. I wasn't figuring out everything out. But the first time that I thought, oh crap, this is awesome, was when I get to the boss of this area. I got here at like level 7, and the mother worm, which they're going to get to pretty soon here, totally destroyed my ass. How about you?
No, I finished this fight rather easily, and I looked online. Well, first of all, you were on universe mode, and I was not.
Yeah.
That probably played some difference.
Yeah.
But I looked online later on, and I saw thread after thread of people complaining about this fight. And I was like, what was the deal with this fight? I don't...
Okay, so you didn't have that much of a hard time with it, huh?
I understood it to be kind of like watch where you are, kind of don't just face tank everything, but
okay.
I don't think I died to this fight, no.
Not bad. Okay, so I fought him, he kicked my ass, and I was like, okay. I tried him like 3 times right off the bat, and he destroyed me all 3 times, and I said, okay, maybe I need to level up a little bit. And in this first dungeon, there's like a minecart right at the end of the beginning of the dungeon. So I was like, I'll just take the minecart out, run through the dungeon one or 2 more times, and I did that, and I went up like 3 levels. And those 3 levels, and then plus whatever points that I spent from them, was enough to like let us all survive. And I'm like, oh, that was awesome. But yeah, not for any like particular strategy reasons was it awesome. Just for like the balance reasons, I thought it was awesome.
Sure. And you were playing on universe mode because you feel really experienced with the series, right?
Yeah, because usually I tend to like to grind a lot in games in general, and grinding is boring if it's not hard enough.
Okay.
So that's why I went for that. And yeah, previous ones, it was kind of the same way.
So you usually start these on the highest.
In the past, I haven't, but now I do because I'm good at them.
Gotcha.
That's not to say I was good at this game right away. It was pretty hard for me. Like we just saw freaking Raymond get owned by a bunch of like earth glaives just popping out of the ground.
So how hard would you say generally, like throughout your experience, was this game? Like, was it moderately difficult throughout, like including the point wherever you got the swing of things? or very difficult? Like where's it at?
It's at like, if I separate bosses from regular encounters, I would say regular encounters they went from at hardest kinda hard to really easy at the end when I figured more stuff out. And then bosses, it was like every boss was actually kind of hard the first time.
Okay.
Yeah, and I died lots of times. There may be like a couple that I just happened to have the right strategy the first time. And so the thing is, like, a popular thing to say about any game's combat from anybody, like everybody says it, is this such and such battle is bullshit. It's like the most popular phrase in gaming of all time, I swear. And I'm always like, well, is it really bullshit, or did we just not figure it out? And so the thing is, what do you consider an acceptable challenge in the game? Do you, because like in Dark Souls, you know, you have to, I mean, I guess you can beat the entire game with just your dodge and your hit. So I guess that's fine. But I mean, like how hidden of a strategy are you willing to accept? So, in the case of this battle, for example, like here's one that I would say is unacceptable. No, an acceptable one is these regular Enigma worms that you're seeing, the small ones. Dude, they don't have eyes. You can't blindside them. What the hell do I do? You told me that, Mel, and I thought the same thing when I first met them.
Oh, yes.
So, like, it doesn't feel like, well, I'm doing the right thing. What do I do? And I just seen, like, right now, this guy just took, like, 1 damage, 3 damage. But if you knock him on the ground, it says over them, defense minus. And so you had to notice that it says defense minus, knock him down with, like, say, Ray's Boulder Crush, and then throw another Boulder Crush immediately while they're down, and they'll just, like, instantly die. What do you think? Is that an acceptable amount of trial and error for searching for strategies?
Well, I guess it's hard for me to say in this context, because part of the problem I had was I had a hard time figuring out the blind side. Like, because it felt really awkward for me to pull off, because they wanted you to launch up in place, and then you're supposed to, like, dash to the side and then hit them from the side while they're looking at you. And, like, how am I supposed to do this?
Oh, okay. It wasn't
like,
working out.
To me, there was a more of a basic, like, I didn't get as far into, like, grokking the mechanics. I guess you're meant to switch character, like, ownership, control, rather.
I don't know if you are. I'm not sure if you're meant to do that. I have no idea, to be honest. I'm still not sure completely.
So you didn't do that?
No, I didn't switch much. I picked, like, one person.
Really?
And also,
I was hoping that wasn't the case. Like, I was hoping that you didn't have to, because I prefer to stay as a character in these instances, like, if I can. And I was reading online, like, what you gotta do is gotta be this person. And I was like, ugh, that sounds terrible.
It sounds right. Sounds super complicated.
It's like a lot of work.
Hard, yeah. Work, exactly. Yeah, but in the case of these Enigma worms, they tell you in a tutorial they don't have eyes, so you can't blindside them. So figure it out, and they literally just say, just figure it out. So I'd say that was an acceptable level of trial and error requirement for the player. This boss, however, I mean, there's still lots of things you can do. One thing that I was really not okay with, though, is you can't find out their weaknesses yet. Later, when you get Elena, you can, but until then, you can't find out the enemy's weaknesses until you defeat them once. So you can't figure out this boss's weakness until you've already defeated it. And I was really, really annoyed to find out that after I beat it, I went into the menu to check it out. It doesn't have the same weaknesses as the small Enigma worms, and that made me actually...
That is interesting.
Mildly, it's the opposite. Like, it was the opposite. The little ones are weak to wind, but the big one is weak to earth, and that just... drove me. I'm sorry, opposite. I think it was the opposite. But whatever it was, wind or earth, it's the opposite of the small ones. And I was like, you can't be serious. What the hell? So
is it not apparent when you're fighting, like, oh, he's taking a lot more damage when you do this or that?
I suppose it is, but considering how fast this game is,
sure,
you have to
you have to really stare at those numbers.
Right, yeah, exactly. But and so yeah, later I saw a Japanese video where they say, dude, Also, this enemy's physical attacks are also earth-based. So if you go back to the inn and eat the vegetable stir fry, which makes you like stronger against earth damage, physical attacks will be weaker against you. It's like, whoa, that's genius. But there's no way to know until you've already beaten it once. So now let's go ahead and get into like the mechanics overall, like blindsiding and all that, and the perfect battle to showcase. There it is. While we talk about that, is your favorite one of all time, the cannon battle.
Yeah, woo!
Yeah.
The part I hated the most.
Right. Where is it? Is it here?
So I'm sure we'll see this person
Oh, this guy.
doing what you're supposed to do.
I don't know. We just saw him like fighting the worm, and he was like just messing up everything.
Kind of messing up. So the only way because I did get through this, the only way I got through it was knocking the difficulty down, which changes the way. Oh, it looks like you got past.
Yeah, I got past it. So I'll go back. A little
changes the way the AI works.
bit.
They're less aggressive. They don't come off the wall as early, I think.
Oh, really? Okay.
Something like that. I was able to get through it in more of a brute force aspect, I suppose. But were you able to fight them and kill them before they get off the wall?
Not before they get off the wall.
No. Oh, so that's kind of generally supposed to happen.
Yeah, that's
Okay.
supposed to happen, I think. I don't think you're supposed to try to... Okay, here it is. Sorry, I was like trying to search for it. Here we go. Yeah, so the first time I did this too, I can't... No, I think I didn't have to turn it down for this one, but man, it was like a really long, battle of attrition kind of a thing. And it took me forever, and I wasn't figuring out either. I came back here later on a second playthrough, and I played on an even harder mode, Chaos mode. And I was like, I wonder if I'm going to be able to do this. Because, like, I haven't really been leveling up. I'm a little bit below the normal level, and I'm on Chaos mode. And I tried a bunch of things, and, like, I couldn't believe how simple the strategy was in the end.
Okay.
Because they're just shooting the hell out of all your guys is the problem, right?
Yes.
But because they're shooting so many bullets, each individual bullet actually isn't that much damage, just that they're shooting constantly and draining your HP fast that way. So all you had to do, the main thing you had to do, there's two things basically, but the first one, the main one, I'd say, is go into that freaking skill tree and learn No Guard, which you don't even have to level up. Just learn it once, and it'll prevent you from flinching from damage that is less than less
It
than
appears
16%.
that he is flinching in this instance, right? Like, he probably doesn't have that skill.
It looks like it, yeah.
Right.
So I put that on, and I still died once, but then I put it on, and then I also used Blindside again. And if you look in the top right corner, there's that little yellow mark, and it says like 9 out of 10 right now. And for the longest time, I never figured out what it was, but one day I figured it out. That's how many enemies are targeting you.
Oh.
So if they're all targeting you, that's a good thing. You do that, and then you do the Blindside. They all get stunned. All your guys and you can wail on all of them freely for a little while, and while they're blindsided, they're also taking double damage. So
Gotcha.
that
All right, so this makes a little more sense.
It does, right?
Mechanically.
yeah. So that means the strategy was you had to think to go into the menu and unlock the No Guard ability. What do you think? Acceptable amount of...
Yeah, I figured this was some kind of a quote-unquote puzzle fight where it's like, all right, there's a thing I have to do here, and I'm just not sure what
Yeah,
it
I
is.
think I think that's kind of how every Star Ocean games bosses are. It's like there's in general the best way to go about it is a single thing that makes it kind of like a puzzle. But I've been translating this interview with Tri-Ace guys recently. I just recently finished it. I'm gonna make a video about it later. And one thing that they said about that was about Star Ocean 3, was that, with all these systems, how do you balance it? And he's like, dude, we just freaking balance it to the level. If you just level up, you can win, is what they do. So, so there's that. So yeah,
Sure.
so that's the best strategy that I could find anyway, and it totally worked. It's slightly low level on Chaos mode against all these crazy cannons. I freaking love how it's just this is like the gun moment, man. Every Star Ocean game has the gun moment. It usually
really?
Yeah. It's like you play and you're fighting guys with swords and stuff. Maybe somebody has a bow and arrow, but it's no big deal. And then one day you go into space and everybody has guns and you've still got your sword and they instantly annihilate you and you don't know what to do and it's amazing. I didn't think that moment would come while like at the third boss fight while on the freaking medieval planet.
Right.
Yeah. Okay, so the blindside thing, how it works. I know how it works now, yo.
Okay.
And yeah, it took me a while too because the thing is they tell you to like hold the R1 button and then you move back and then you charge forward and before you hit the enemy you should swerve to the side and you'll move out of their thing, out of their visual range. That is actually was really hard for me to do because the thing is you have to worry about two ranges. You have to worry about whether or not if you get too close, you're gonna your sword's gonna hit the enemy and you won't be able to turn. You'll end your attack. If you do it too far away, you won't go out of their freaking range of sight. So what do? And I just gave up doing that. And what I started doing is instead of moving back, charging forward, and then strafing to the side, I just held to the side or held up and just suddenly moved instantly in that direction, and that blindsides them too.
Up
or to the side even. Just start holding that way from the beginning. If you hold up, you'll go directly up into the air. And if you're close enough to them when you do it, you'll be out of their range of sight. So that's the way too. Yeah. So I found that way to blindside them much easier. And then I figured it out after that. I figured out exactly how all the system works after that. You have to blindside them to stun them, and then when they're stunned, you're also dealing double damage. And then when they come back out of it, you need to do stuff before they come back out of it, you need to do stuff to build back up your VA gauge, because your Duma gauge. Because if you don't have any gauge, the blindside lasts 1 second. But if it's right, were you having a problem with that?
Yeah, when you fall out of rhythm in this game, you can tell you're doing it wrong, and it's like, I can't do anything because nothing's up. All the cooldowns and the meters are not doing,
They're not in sync anymore. What do I do now?
Yeah. If you ever find yourself having to pop a bunch of items, you're like, I know I'm doing this wrong. This is not the way it's supposed to go.
Yeah. So I figured out exactly the loop that is the one that works. Blindside them, and while they're blindside them, you need to use not just slow, strong ones. Like freaking Ray's Boulder Crush is the strongest skill in the game almost, and he has it right from the beginning. And
kind of figured.
Right, and if you just spam that over and over again, it's like the highest DPS that he can do, basically. But you actually are incentivized not to do that because it's a little bit slow, and it uses 2 AP per hit as well. So if you use all those smaller moves as well, and try to get as many hits in as possible, and by hits I just mean as many different moves, not multi-hit moves. Each hit increases the VA gauge, so you want to get as many hits as you can while they're still stunned. And if you can max out that gauge while they're still stunned, you can immediately stun them again if you get another successful blindside. So that's how that's supposed to go.
Okay.
And if you get into the out of the rhythm problem, and you're having trouble getting hits in now because they're not stunned anymore and they're hitting you and flinching you and stuff, you can start using that perfect dodge where you dodge exactly at the right time to avoid something with the L1 button, that flip move. And that also increases the Duma gauge. So you can use that as well. The other thing that people are not using that is super important, it sucks to have only 5 AP, does it not?
There's a way you can boost it. You get it by doing what?
What? You get it by hitting enemies that are blindsided, does it?
Right.
But for example, if you can't blindside now because you messed up the rhythm or whatever, you can get it by, as soon as you press the Duma button, the shield forms around you, and then you start floating and moving back or whatever. If you can once you start being able to anticipate enemy attacks, you turn on that shield and just block it with the Duma shield. Each hit that you block is just adds max AP. And that's one of the main ways to block, for example, magic coming from, for example, the Mother Worm. She shoots freaking fireballs and ice needles and stuff at you, and it's they home on you. They home in on you. And there were times where I was like doing the perfect dodge like successfully, but still getting hit by like the last 2 fireballs or something.
Yeah,
Because
sure.
like 5
Yeah,
of them
yeah.
come at you at once. So it's like, what do you do? What do you do? And you could probably find a better direction to do it, maybe. But even better than that, dude, just activate the freaking Duma shield. Instant +5 max AP. There you go. Yeah, it requires some of the gauge too, though.
Sure.
Yeah. So that's how that all works. And I'm actually, now that I understand it all, pretty impressed how they all tie in with each other and support each other. If you can't do one, if you do the other one, then you'll be able to do the other one again, kind of thing.
Right.
Do you feel better or worse now that you've heard all that?
A little mix of both, like, because it feels like, oh, maybe there's still an opportunity in there for me to like get the hang of it, but I'm like, I don't know, maybe not.
Yeah. In the end, you're still going to be annoyed by having, computer controlled characters.
Yeah,
right?
probably. So is that, we're talking about the combat, I guess, as it pertains to what you're doing, but what about
everybody else?
What about everyone else?
In general, all Star Ocean games have had very chaotic combat. None of them are turn-based. So, and yeah, I guess part of the fun is supposed to just be the the chaoticness of the combat, the chaos of the combat. But there are some things you can do. Now, they actually give you a little bit less control over the AI than in previous ones. For example, I think the only thing you can really do besides set their abilities, the only strategy type stuff you can do is just tell them to focus in on your same target or not, or different target. And that's it, right? And that kind of sucks. But the things that you can do besides that are like, I guess you're just supposed to equip them with the right defensive elements and stuff. And, of course, if you can set up Nina. And I agree that Nina, with her initial healing spell, wasn't quite healing enough. And then when that kind of annoyed. They actually they released an update patch later.
They buff it.
Exactly. They said in the note that they made her heal a lot more.
Oh, God.
So that takes care of that now. But, yeah.
Okay, I guess so.
Yeah, at launch. Yeah, but I said that I found like the perfect setup with her, where you put that, not that one where she stands and dances, but the one where she just puts the bell out and it just makes more healing fields just on its own, and she can immediately run around and do something else. That was working wonders for me. She was healing like a maniac after that. So, I guess that's about it.
I had a hard time with it because her heals were like AoE heals.
That's
not
right.
Like, I'm gonna heal you. Zap! I hit you with a heal spell. You have to position your allies in the area to be healed. And it's like they're always running around.
Yeah. I guess that's a thing. I guess that's why the other one that I said, where she just puts the field and can move around again, works better. I don't know. Overall, I didn't have too much difficulty with Nina once I used that alternate method.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I guess that's basically everything to say about the battle system. Overall, to be honest, the biggest problem for me with this game is actually the difficulty, because it's kind of ridiculous that I can beat it on chaos mode so kind of handily. I started on universe mode. Frick, man, in Star Ocean 2, universe mode is a brutal freaking climb, uphill battle the entire time. And there are all kinds of ridiculously OP things you can do in that game, and you have to do them to beat universe mode in freaking Star Ocean 2. It's like the requirement. It's the basic requirement to have a normal battle. So, yeah, they made this Star Ocean actually way too easy, in my opinion. I'm fine with Galaxy mode being where it was, but like universe mode should have been way harder, and chaos mode should be way more harder than that.
So you were saying that the previous one to this was considered kind of a disappointment, and you think this one's like right up there with like the center, like the pinnacle of the experience, right?
Oh,
like
yes.
What makes this? What did 5 do wrong? I guess
5 did several things.
It's not like too complicated. I don't know if it's like a big answer.
No, it's not. It's not a difficult one. Uh, for people who care about story, a lot of people just didn't like it, and
Sure.
also it was the shortest game. It's even
Oh,
shorter than
interesting.
it's even shorter than the PS1 one, which is kind of ridiculous. It's a PS4 game and it's shorter than a PS1 game. It's kind of crazy. So it's just really, really short. Like people who are the types that just go straight through it, they finished it in like 25 hours, and they were like, "What?"
Okay. Yeah.
That was a thing that some people liked, did not like. But more than that, like I want to say most of the music was also taken from previous Star Oceans. Just like what do I say? Not like wrote. Like they didn't change it at all. They didn't even remix it. It's the exact same song. That cheapened the experience for me as well. And the biggest problem, though, for sure, is you don't ever actually go to space, which happens in all of them. Or I'm sorry, okay, you don't go to space in 2 either, which is like the fan favorite. But you go to another world, and you don't go to any other worlds. You're always on the same planet for the whole thing, and then you just get a bunch of backtracking and all that. And I mean, it was like the low budget one, and they didn't tell anybody that it was going to be low budget before that. So
Interesting.
yeah, it's mind blowing to everyone that they could make that one, the 5th one, and it was like way low budget. I guess Triace has been having problems all this time, and it came out like that, and it should have basically condemned the series for good because it was considered so bad by basically everyone. Oh, also the combat is just not nearly as interesting. Like every move combos with every other move, which sounds awesome, but then people were just using the same move over and over again. And
Yeah, that means there's no reason to shake it up. Yeah.
Yeah. So there was that too.
Interesting.
So there was also that. Yeah. So what was I saying? Yeah, it's amazing that after all that they did that with the low budget, and they basically condemned the series to death was what everybody thought by making such a bad game. That then this one comes out, and while it's coming out, while it's being developed, a story comes out that Triace is now completely insolvent. Like they just have no money anymore. While they're making this game, that story comes out, and yet this game comes out and it's kind of amazing, at least by comparison. Like it's the full Star Ocean experience. It's not that long, but it's still you're getting everything. Sorry, so you're wondering what is everything? Yeah, so everything is a couple of things. Of course, it's the story that you are a guy from space stranded on a medieval planet, and then you eventually take those medieval people with you to space. That's the story, and then those medieval people get their minds blown by everything all the time. So that's fun to watch. The private action system that this game had, did you indulge in that at all?
I know the term, but I don't know if I got to do those. What were they?
They were the thing where, like, every time you go into a town, your party splits up, and if you go talk to them, sometimes it'll say private action on the side of the screen, and they'll like have some special dialogue that's special just for that.
Dialogue?
Moment. It's usually just dialogue, and
okay, I think I may have done. I mean, I've been in a few towns, so I probably did some of those.
I mean, I think the first town, Larset, where you first go, and you after Ray just met the two of them, Letitia and Albert. I think there's like a couple required. There's like a required one where you go outside and you talk to Letitia, and you're just sitting down at night before you go back to the inn and go to sleep. That was a private action, and so that's kind of like an example. They give you like one mandatory one to show you what they're like.
Gotcha.
Yeah, they always have that, and you can do a lot of things with them in previous ones, and learn a lot of the world building and extra stuff that they don't want to put into like the normal story because it would just make it, people don't want to see all that stuff, I guess.
Sure.
For those people, it's got the private action system, and it's robust enough, I want to say, compared to all the other ones. It's got the crazy 4-person full action combat, although 5 also had some crazy 4 action. Actually, the one thing that 5 did that's actually amazing, 7-person combat.
Ooh.
Yeah, that was cool. You go to space, and is there anything else that's like really important? It's got like the bonus dungeons after you clear the game. It's got the multiple difficulties. I guess the things that make Star Ocean is the crazy combat, the Motoi Sakuraba music, and the general the PA system also. Oh, I'm sorry. One super huge one. The crafting system. That's right.
Right. Yes.
I forgot about that. So, as I said from translating an interview, I found out that he actually just balances the game to just your character's level. So you don't have to do it if you don't want to.
Right.
But if you do, oh my God. So, did you mess around? Did you get to that at all? Like, you have to get Elena first. Did you get Elena?
I don't know, or if I did, I wasn't at the point where crafting yielded anything.
So that's what you would think, right? Exactly. Oh my God, dude. That's exactly what you think. You start crafting as soon as it opens up, and it's like, what is all this crap that I'm making? That's what you
Right.
think.
Sure.
You can, dude, and it's been like this in all of them. And you can level her up to max crafting if you like level up and get all the points and put them all into her crafting. Level her up to level 10 crafting. She still won't make anything like that mind blowing. You're like, well, what the hell is this crap? I don't get it.
Right. Yeah.
But and it took me a while this time to figure out what the hell is going on with it. But I figured it out eventually, and that is it's the factors that, you know, like you have 4 little messages, little things on each piece of equipment. Do you know what I'm talking about when I say the factors? For example,
we're looking at their stuff right now.
That's right. We're in the menu.
Is it on there?
Come on, go into the equipment. Okay, they're looking at the party members now. If you look at a piece of equipment, it says, for example, adds water element to attack and
Okay.
plus 5% attack. And when you do a, oh, come on, do it. Come on, look at it. Oh, come on, look at one of them. Just look at one of them. Oh, he just did it. He took off both of the accessories like instantly. Okay, come on. He's gonna put on an accessory. No. Okay, he's looking at chain combos.
Or is he?
He's not. He's going back and forth. He's doing all kinds of crazy stuff. Anyway, and for example, if you do a perfect dodge, increase to the vatting gauge plus 30%. All those kinds of things that it says on your accessories. Have you noticed any of those? Did you notice any of those?
They don't ring a bell. Doesn't mean I didn't notice them, but
Back then. Okay, but yeah, you
Yeah.
don't remember it now.
Uh-huh.
Okay, yeah. So every piece of equipment can have 4 of those little, abilities on it, if you will, and they're referred to as factors. And I found out that this time, usually the factor is like innate to the piece of equipment that it's on. But in this game, it seems the factors are completely random. So you don't need to be level 10 at crafting. You can. Okay, there we go. Okay, so this piece of this Jack Isoa piece that this person has,
Yeah.
it says on the bottom right factor, plus 30%
Okay.
damage dealt to humanoids, plus 45% damage dealt to demons. You can have
All
4
right.
of those on each piece of equipment.
I remember seeing those. Yes.
Okay, yeah. 4 pieces of equipment. So that's a total of 16 factors. And right now, you can only just make a thing and it has a factor. And yeah, I found out that the factors are randomly generated this time. So you can make any crappy piece of equipment, but it might have an awesome factor on it or a factor that you just want to do. So that's how this one goes. And eventually, just like in all Star Ocean games, since 3 anyway, once you get the last character, or one of the last characters, you'll get the ability called Synthesis, which lets you move around all the factors kind of as you please, almost as you please. If you do the whole save scumming thing, then it will end up eventually be exactly as you please, and you can have, for example, 4 factors of plus 30% experience points on your sword, and 4 more on your armor, and 4 more on your accessory 1, and 4 more on your accessory 2.
Boy.
You can do stuff like that, for example. You can't do it with the gold. In this game, it's called Fall. You can't do it with Fall. It only accepts 1 of those for some reason. But you can do it with experience points. Or you so the things that I found the most fun to do is one of them is like, when did you ever manage to sneak up on an enemy and get the first hit and it said surprise attack? Did you ever get that?
Yeah.
Yeah, any enemy you kill while they're still stunned, they're also blindsided when that happens. So they're stunned from the blind side and taking double damage and everything. If you manage to kill them while they're stunned from the surprise attack blindside, the normal bonus is plus 30% experience points. and fall from them. And you can get, so what a lot of people are doing is they're just crafting random accessories with Leticia until they get a bunch of them that say plus 30% more what you call bonus. I'm sorry, plus 30% bonus to your surprise attack, and like getting like insane, like putting two of those equipment on each person in the party, and boom, you're like all of a sudden you're getting like just triple experience from every enemy killed during the surprise attack and stuff like that. That's a thing that I did for a while. It's crazy. I checked out the minus enemies field of vision to see how like small I could get it. I eventually made it like insanely small, to the point where you can basically approach them perfectly. Like you can touch them, you can push them from the side or from the back, and they won't notice you. Like I got up to that level, not from the front, of course. And so like I had fun like messing around with that and trying to push people out of the normal field of their attack, of the battle or whatever, where they would normally be, and also like just avoiding encounters, doing that and stuff. That's another one I had fun with. And there are all these different factors that you can do. For example, another one, 12% chance to not use any AP with an attack. And if you put a bunch of those on there, you'll basically just constantly get, like you have infinite AP all of a sudden. You can just spam any move infinitely all of a sudden. That's a thing you can do too. But all of these things, a lot of these things that I'm saying, you can't really do too crazy stuff with until you get the later character and unlock synthesis and let you move around all these factors onto single pieces of equipment. But yeah, that's the freaking crafting system. Let me tell you a little more about it. There's alchemy. Okay, you probably didn't unlock alchemy. No. And what alchemy does is it lets you upgrade stones. You got a piece of iron, you can upgrade it to a piece of silver. Then you can upgrade it to a piece of gold. Then you can upgrade it to a piece of mithril. Then you can upgrade it to a piece of orichalcum. Then you can upgrade it. This one blows my mind. You can upgrade it to a freaking exolithium crystal, which is like in the lore of the game, a crystal used to power spaceships. Even though you're still on the freaking medieval planet, you can use alchemy to upgrade something to an exolithium crystal. And then the highest one of all of them, you can upgrade something to a philosopher's stone. And whatever the highest, you take whatever the highest stone you were able to make with alchemy, and then you go do the smithery creation, and you can make something way above the level you're supposed to be right now. That's a thing you can do. There's authoring where you can write books, and I wrote a whole bunch of books, and then I went to the shop in the you didn't get there to you go to freaking Leticia's kingdom, eventually. You didn't get there, did you?
No.
Yeah, you go there. There's a shop, and maybe you noticed that in the shop menu, there's buy, sell, and like quest or turn in or something. Did you notice that third option?
Turn in, yeah.
Turn in or something, yeah. But if you go there and you turn in like books, I went back there like 10 hours later, 20 hours later, and like the guy was like, "Oh, by the way, you got a whole bunch of royalties from these books that you gave us that we sold." What? And I got 200,000 fall.
Jesus.
Yeah. So that's the crafting system in a nutshell. Just all kinds of crazy things you can do. And they're completely optional. They are time consuming because there's a lot of randomness involved. Because if it wasn't random, you could instantly break the game. But if you're willing to spend a couple hours in menus, then you can break the game as early as you want, basically, once that opens up. That's the crafting system. And that was in this game, too, and I was happy. Yeah, that's the Star Ocean experience in a nutshell overall. I think I said everything that's important to it. But not your cup of tea because of the combat.
Because of the goddamn combat. Yeah.
All right. Yeah. Shall we? Oh, sorry, I paused this. Sorry, I should have turned it back on a long time ago. So I guess what do you think of the exploration, like going through the areas and and
So
looking for
the
crystals and
little
stuff.
yeah, the little collectible thingamabobs for the Duma crystals. I was like, well, this is a kind of a cool
A collectible.
excuse
Yeah.
to go like explore the world a bit more. It felt a little old school, like I was picking up coins in a Mario game almost. But you
Yeah.
know, the flying or gliding launching mechanic worked a little better than I was expecting it to. Like I saw them, like now you can do this. It's like all right, and then in this
Mm.
area, I was here, and you can fly around to a lot of these islands in the distance. You go quite a ways, and you drop down like immediately. It's quite easy to effortlessly kind of glide and launch yourself around. It was kind of fun.
Cool. Yeah, I'm glad you liked it. The whole time out before release, I was worried. Like, they showed like you're gonna be able to fly around on the Duma, and I'm like, whoa, okay. And you're gonna find things in treasure chests. I'm like, okay, they better not. It better not be blueberries. That was what I was telling myself. That every time I mention that, I'm never happy that I found a blueberry. That comes from Star Ocean. They have blueberries, as you notice, I think. Yeah, freaking, it better not be blueberries. And I'm so happy they put in the Duma crystals, because that made it totally worth it to me to fly around and find stuff. And you could go into the Duma menu, and I was having fun. Looking forward. I was looking forward to upgrading the field of her scanning range. If you max that out, she can like do a massive freaking area scan. It only finds bunnies, like wild bunnies, little bunnies, and not crystals, and chests is all it finds. And also finds this other thing that like there are these little pedestals, one in like each open area. Like in this area, there's an open area. There's one little pedestal in each open area like this that you can place some lilies on, and it acts exactly as eating some food and sleeping at the, not sleeping at the end. It acts as eating some food at the end. Like it adds a buff for like the next 5 battles or something like that. Oh, and it heals you after every battle for the next 5 battles too, like full heals.
Okay.
So that was pretty cool, I thought too. Yeah, it'll find that too. Her Duma scan. I thought that was pretty cool. And then you can make it so that your footsteps are silent, so you can do what I was talking about and like actually push enemies from behind and they don't even notice you.
Right.
Then I also spent a lot of points on Duma's the amount of VA gauge you get restored with every attack that you do. I increased that a lot, and that helps you just be able to do another blindside like instantly after one blindside again. So, yeah, I'm also very, very satisfied with what they did with the Duma exploration, and they made all the areas suitably vertical, I would say. What do you think?
Yes. Even the amount of time that I've gotten there, yes.
Yeah, and no other Star Ocean game, you couldn't even jump. So I'm actually surprised they got it this solid on their first try.
Really?
Yeah, you can only
so
walk.
they really
the previous
opened
ones.
up that whole thing.
Yeah. Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah, the Duma is basically the new thing we're going to do this time. They always like add a new thing they're going to do each time. And so in this time it was Duma, and I think they used it really, really well overall.
Very
So I guess,
interesting.
sorry, can I keep talking?
Yes.
Okay, so I guess the last thing to talk about is the story.
Okay.
I guess, what did you think of what you saw? I mean, were you on board for the whole... I found like it has two really... Like, the whole atmosphere of it changes a lot once you get to the second half of the game. Because in the beginning, it's like, I gotta find Chloe and Elena. And I'm like super on board to find Chloe and Elena. I mean, probably just personally because, I'm the buff Raymond dude. And I want to find the 2 hot chicks. That sounds like fun to me. How about you? How on board were you with the story in the beginning?
I think what you were explaining earlier, where it's like you're always going to kind of be in this condition where you're this guy from space kind of showing people all this high technology. That was a cool dynamic. I didn't realize that was how every Star Ocean kind of goes.
Yeah, but this is the first time that they really milked it in the early story because
Okay. Yeah.
Sorry, go ahead. Yeah, go ahead and keep talking first.
Yeah, so I thought that idea was interesting. I thought him just kind of like having to push people aside every time he took a phone call because he was too busy shitting their pants
Yeah.
was kind of cute and interesting. Yeah, concept wise, I had no issues with it. I thought it was good.
Cool. Yeah. Did you ever find out that Elena is an android? Did you find that out?
Yeah, there's a whole scene where you're trying to like put her back together with bits and pieces from the crashed
Oh yeah, okay.
ship.
So you got her.
So
back.
I did get that far. Yes.
Cool. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So yeah, I want to say that it's like completely different kind of motivations, like from the beginning to the second half. Like I said, in the beginning, you're just looking for your crewmates, and you can be really, excited about that. And then like a little bit in the middle of the game, you're gonna be like, finding out that we're getting invaded by these guys from the Empire. I mean, Letitia guys are being invaded by the Empire. We got to do something about that. And so you're going to help her out because she's your new best friend since you've been on this planet. And that's all kind of pretty easy to understand, too. There's a wedding scene, yo.
Really?
Yeah. Like,
with who?
Freaking Letitia, as part of the plan, Letitia vows to marry the. Let's see. Can I see this scene? Vows to marry the prince of the Empire, the enemy. They're having a war with the Empire, and yeah. And then during the time that she's there, waiting to be married, Raymond is supposed to like help get some flying technology. There it was. Is that? Let's see. Here we go. Check it out. She's getting married.
Well, hot damn.
And goddamn it, dude. And this is where right here. This is the moment, dude. This is the moment that the story gets like, wait, what the fuck is going on? This is the moment. The king is gonna put this crown on each of their heads.
Mm-hmm.
And you're looking at this, and what are you thinking, Mel? Look at this crown.
Those don't look like real crowns.
Right? They don't look like medieval crowns either. It turns out these are also Dumas. I'm going to tell you basically what the story is.
Okay.
So,
makes sense.
Yeah, you guys, if you don't want to spoiler, well, I'm not going to do the really spoilery stuff just yet, but yeah, these are freaking like Duma type things. It turns out Duma is in fact a living organism. It's not just a machine. And but somebody, I guess, had to have built the first one, I assume. I'm not sure. But they have their own like personalities and a goal in life. And their goal in life is to opposite of humans, real life people nowadays, or like cyberpunk settings where humans want to like what's the word I'm looking for? Not accentuate, but like they want to improve themselves by adding robot parts to their body. These guys want to integrate with humans or just any living life form to further their evolution, whatever that means. And and that's also the mission of the Duma that's with you. And that's why she lets you like fly around. She goes on your back and helps you fly around and stuff. Is so that one day you'll like her enough to say, you know what, I think I want to integrate with the Scorpium. And then when you integrate with the Scorpium, okay, here we go. Here comes spoilers, guys. I mean, it's the main plot. If you haven't played the game, you probably shouldn't be watching this video. This could be a few minutes long, though. This spoiler. If you integrate with Scorpium, you don't immediately have to like have robot parts attached to you, but like, dude, your mind itself gets input into the Scorpium only internet, if you will.
Okay.
Your mind gets input, so everything that you know, everything that happens to you, you don't have to like physically write it down. It's like you can just think it, and it goes into like the Scorpium only internet. It's called the Scorpium network. And every other person who has ever integrated with Scorpium can see it. What you thought, kind of amazing, right? And eventually, what the story becomes is this this woman who put these scorpion weird crowns here. Come on, show them. What if I just push left? Oh, there we go.
Yeah, you can do that on your keyboard. You can move to the right. It's
Okay,
going to buffer a bit.
So these people in the background,
Yeah.
with they have horns and they have like gray skin and stuff. They actually crashed here from another planet as well, and they've introduced Scorpium to the Empire, who saved them when they were like injured from their crash. So they have a kind of allegiance to the Emperor here, and they introduce him to Scorpium, and he's like, "That sounds amazing. And if I integrate with Scorpium, my kingdom will be stronger. Like the Empire will be stronger. So I definitely want to do that." And so basically, what ends up happening is the emperor of the emperor of the Vale Empire becomes the final boss. Yeah, the final boss himself. He manages to integrate with Scorpion to like the maximum level, to where he's like not only just like really, it makes you stronger too, using all these like Scorpion parts on your body, but also like his consciousness is in the freaking network, like the internet. So if you kill him once, he just pops up again somewhere else, because he can just like make another body for himself, for his consciousness. And so like, here's the ultimate spoiler, guys. If you've listened this far but don't want to know the end, this is the time to skip ahead a minute. So what you have to do to beat him, you have to actually, your whole party's like, no, we're never going to freaking integrate with the Scorpion. Duma, we're never integrating with you guys. But then you realize, how are we supposed to beat him if he can copy himself over and over again? And Duma's like, well, you could integrate, go into the Scorpion network as data. I mean, your body just lays down on the ground, and just in your mind just goes into the network. And as data in the network, you fight his data in the network to completely delete him from the network. That's what you do, dude.
Wow.
Yeah. And I can tell you that basically almost every Star Ocean game has some kind of scene like this in the game. Some kind of story aspect like this in the game regarding data and networks and things like that. What do you think, Mel?
I mean, I guess I should have expected a similarly kind of, wild ass,
Quiet ass story, right?
just like some sort of crazy, extension to the story. I mean, these anime games, they always have that, right? Like, that's always what they end up with.
Yeah, I guess you're right. Yeah. I think that's everything I wanted to tell you about Star Ocean 6. I had
All right.
the greatest time ever playing it. I played it twice already. That's the only reason I didn't play Tactics Ogre Reborn. I couldn't stop playing Star Ocean 6. It's a miracle enough I managed to stop and start playing our next game.
Wow.
Yeah, because I'm into it. So I think that does it for today's episode. Thank you very much, Mel. Oh, okay. I have the funnest thing in the world to leave the audience off on. Okay, so first let's tell them what we're gonna do the housekeeping. So next up, we're changing the format for the better. So as you've seen, we did a very poor job of using video here today. This time, for the next episode, I am going to play Zelda Majora's Mask. I've already started it. I'm invested, so don't worry. I won't go back and play Star Ocean 6. And I'm recording my entire playthrough, and I'm taking notes on I'm going to take notes on in particularly interesting parts of it. And then I'm going to set up a kind of maybe just like 10 scenes or so. If there happen to be more amazing scenes than that, then fine. But at the very least, maybe just like the 10 scenes that that basically define this game and that I think are the most important or whatever. Something like that. And we're going to do like what we're doing now, and we're going to talk about the scenes themselves for our next conversation. I think it'll be more interesting. You know, we gave the we gave the more general explanation of this game, just like we have always in the past, and that's basically what every podcast does. So it's okay if we miss some, some general information, just to talk about specific scenes. I think might be more interesting.
Yeah, I think it's going to be an interesting little dive. It'll be more in line with our original kind of format. I have played the game. It's a game I'm very familiar with.
Yeah.
And Zoltan will be playing it for the first time. Although you've said before that this is one of those games that you kind of can't not get exposed to.
Yeah, I know
It's
some stuff
on
about
the
it.
internet so much that there's probably key parts of it that you're like, oh, I didn't realize this was this or that was that. That may or may not come up, but
Hmm.
um, more than likely, or you were already aware of some of the bigger aspects that
Right.
make the game the reason people talk about it and why we're bringing it up right now.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, that'll be an interesting one. And then after that, are we going to say what we're doing after that?
Yeah, we can. Hopefully, it'll work out again.
Yeah,
Yeah, I'm playing a Zelda game, and Mel's playing a Zelda clone game.
yeah.
What game is
Playing
that, Mel?
Alundra.
Oh my god, it's gonna be amazing.
This was a game you told me to play like 10 years ago or something.
Right? Like I've been like raving about it. Like
Yeah.
since forever. I won't say anything about it now. I'll stop.
Okay. Yes.
Yeah.
All right.
So
That's our plans.
Yeah, so that's where the new idea for the podcast. I think it's gonna be awesome. My whole image is that we're gonna be like, I'm gonna put up like a boss fight or something, and I'm gonna be like, okay, Mel, check this out. See what I do
Right.
here? That blew my fucking mind. Like that's what I wanted to.
And
the
I don't
thing
know
to
if
be
you
like.
mentioned it in that one. It'll be your actual footage.
That's right. So what we're
Yeah.
doing here, I didn't prepare actual footage, which is why it's not that interesting this time. The video per se, but I'm glad that we actually got to bring it up a few times during.
Yeah,
the
this
conversation.
helped.
Yeah, I think that was cool. So, yeah, this time though it'll be my personal footage. So if I have a crazy boss battle or a super hard puzzle, you can see me like what I'm doing and laugh at me or be amazed or whatever, along with me, and I can tell you all about it. So that's what we're doing next time. I want to leave you with the most crazy freaking cliffhanger of all time.
Oh boy.
Yeah, I mean, if you're a fan of Star Ocean games, although you'll probably enjoy this too. So later, after I play Majora's Mask, I want to make a video that actually goes ahead and spoils and explains the ultimate, the most famous, I want to say, or infamous plot twist of all time ever in any game ever. It happened in Star Ocean 3, but there was like foreshadowing or at the very least references up to it in like every game. And I'm gonna and it's the most mind-blowing thing in the entire world, in my opinion. Some people think, are you serious? One thing to keep in mind though, now it's a little bit of a popular plot mechanic or whatever, plot twist. It happened like way before like any of the other people did that. It's like what freaking 3D dot game heroes is to Minecraft. Everybody's like, dude, Bloxels are amazing. Minecraft did this genius thing. Dude, 3D dot game heroes actually came out before Minecraft and did it first. So it's kind of like that, where the first time it's like kind of a revelation. So anyway, here's the hint. If you played Star Ocean 6, you know how when you like try to go out of bounds, there's this little like golden laser wall of sorts that kind of keeps you in bounds. It's not an invisible wall, like a little. Did you happen to see that, Mel?
No, I may not have gone as far out of bounds
Tried to go
as
out of
you
bounds.
have.
Yeah. If you try to go like to the very edge of an area and try to keep going or whatever, like up a mountain that you're not supposed to go up or whatever.
Oh, you mean like that?
Yeah, just like that.
I probably did see what
Yeah.
you're talking about.
Yeah, this little like hexagon-shaped wall or something.
Oh, sure. Yeah.
Just appears right where you're walking, basically.
Uh huh.
That's a thing. And the other thing, every time like your character falls into the ocean, you like instantly kind of teleport back onto the ground, and it goes and it has a little effect on it. Now, if you were making a video game and you're like, well, when people fall off a place they're not supposed to fall off and they need to come back, wouldn't you want to make it kind of not drawing your attention, so to speak? Like, would you animate it where you freaking teleport and then it goes?
As opposed to doing what?
As opposed to, say, for example, just quietly making them reappear back up there, for example, and not drawing any attention to it.
I don't know.
You don't know. Okay, well, here's what I want to say. For if you've played Star Ocean 6 and you haven't played Star Ocean 3, listen to me. That little wall that you rub up against and that little teleportation animation that happens when you fall off a cliff, that's freaking in the lore.
Oh, boy.
There you go.
Interesting.
Can you imagine what the plot twist is now, Mel?
Yeah, I can imagine a couple scenarios, yes.
Okay, cool. And let's
That's
end it with that. Sorry.
All right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you very much, Mel. Thank you very much, everyone.
Thank you.
Good night.